And we're going to start with everyone's favorite team. I feel like this team they've been deserving. They've been deserving of some winning seasons. Miami. Weird win projection, 8.5 wins. Tell me what you see with Miami, Brandon.
Like you're saying, I feel like it's one of those teams that everybody's always rooting for. Everybody's hoping for the best with them. I know that they lost, the number one pick in the draft, Cam Ward, which was a huge deal. But they did replace that with Carson Beck. A lot of people, have their own opinions about him, whether he's the guy or not. I think he's very talented. Do I think he can be, one of those QBs who makes a lot of boneheaded decisions? Absolutely. But yeah, I do think that he's going to be able to make a good turnaround with Carson Beck. And their schedule doesn't look too difficult, in my opinion, upon first glance. Their win total's at 8.5. When you look at their home games, their tough ones look like Notre Dame, Florida. They got Louisville, Syracuse, which they lost to last year. That was a disappointing loss for sure, especially with that team that seemed like they had it all covered. And then the away games, FSU, SMU, Tech, and Pitt. Now, as far as the squad goes, when I look at them on both sides of the ball, there is some continuity there. They have a top 10 O-lineman in Francis Manua, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's really good. He's one of the best O-linemen in the country. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they have a lot of guys coming back, specifically Ruben Bain, Wesley Besanth, OJ Frederick. And they also add a lot of depth to their secondary, which was a big deal, something that they were lacking on. Mario Cristobal even said in his interview with Josh Pate that, they fell apart on the defensive side of the ball just time and time again. And they were playing one of those games where they were trying to put as many points they can on the board and fear that the other team could catch up, which was, that was part of the reason why Miami was so fun to watch last year, was because of how many close and exciting games they had. But I do feel like this team, is going to make the right step in hitting the over on that 8.5. They did bring the defensive coordinator from Minnesota, who's a guy that, he was one of the best in the country. They only allowed 17.5 points per game, held opponents under 20 points 8 times in 2024. So I'm excited to see, what they're able to do.
Mario Cristobal is going into his 4th year with Miami. He's 22-16. Against top 25 teams, he's 4-6. I'm going to list out everyone leaving, okay? That's important. Within reason, please don't come at me when I say the word important. I just want to read some accolades that Cam Ward had, okay? What did he walk away with? Record for season passing yards. Obviously, that's easy. Actually beat it by 700 yards. Record for season passing touchdowns. Record for total offense in a season. Record for total offensive touchdowns in a season. Xavier Restrepo had the following accolades. Record for career receptions in a single season. He was second in single game receptions. Highest career receiving yards in Miami history, and 4th in single season receiving yards. That's just 2 people. That's me going through 2 people. That's their starting wide receiver and starting quarterback. One of them got taken in the first round. One of them went undrafted. Story for another time. I think you have a lot of space to fill. Carson Beck, they did great. I just watched that video of this kid with police showing up at his house and interviewing him about his cars getting stolen. Not having the best time in Miami, but let's look at it from a quarterback point of view. Last time we had a quarterback with talent go into Miami, he did well. What should have won the Heisman. I just think it's too much. Carson Beck obviously it's huge that they were able to get him, but they still lost Isaiah Horton, who was next in line to step up as wide receiver 1. So I'm just worried that they won't be able to produce at the level of offense that they did last year. That being said, also, they did pick up Minnesota's defensive coordinator, who is very good defensive coordinator. Obviously, Brandon went through all of the stats he had from last season. The question is, will it translate into Miami? Do they have the right defensive players for the defensive scheme that he plans on running? I'm not entirely sure. So this is kind of a guess and feel. 8.5 wins is way too high for something where I'm guessing and feeling. 9 wins. I know what you said. Their schedule's not hard. I understand they're hosting Notre Dame. That's going to be difficult. I'm so sorry. You're starting off with a very difficult schedule. FSU is not the same team that they were last year. And they're going on the road at Tech and Pitt. Both of those games are going to be difficult. They were difficult last year for Cam Ward. Granted, it was a defense. I don't know. I don't think they hit it. Tell me, do you think that they hit the 8.5?
I do think that they hit the 8.5. And I do just want to harp on them a bit more. See, I feel like everything you said and all the reasons that they weren't able to make that leap last year wasn't because of personnel. It was because of the execution, right? So hopefully, and I know I keep harping on it, the hire of the new defensive coordinator is going to make a big deal for them. They do have Fletcher coming back in the backfield, so that's going to be a plus two. So that's the reason why I said the continuity is there. I know they lost a couple receivers, but they did fill that with the transfers. But yeah, I'm going to stick with my guns here, and I'm going to take them on the over.